Athabasca River flows north through Alberta into the Arctic Ocean. The oil miners arrived and began to dig out the tar sands in an area the size of England. Day and night they mined the black sediments and boiled the Athabasca water to separate the tar from the clay.
So I start. Ms. Biemann, we know about your long career in the production of works, dealing issues of global interest and your involvement in them. Your beginnings in the video essay discuss the issues of geography, seen as a whole that includes nature, society, politics and culture. And from this you passed to include our ecological point of view. And would you say that this change, we can notice this in Black Sea fields? It's 2005 and in the Congress we're all the time talking about 2010. So would you say we can notice it?
I mean, with Black Sea files, what we can definitely say is that my interest caught the attention of a new subject matter, which was the resources. Because before then, I was really working a lot more on gender, on borders, and on maybe some migration patterns, on female mobility, and technology, the technological image production around the mobility of women. So to move into a new subject of resources, it's a material thing. It's not about gender and labor. It's not a kind of global labor. It's really a different subject matter that has not been a subject of cultural studies or art theory or anything. Resources appears mainly in finances and in so what I noticed is with this article is that a lot of migration routes were actually intersecting with the routes of the distribution of resources, extraction. There was an interchange between sending labor and taking the resources. So I felt that there were kind of these global hubs where actually those lines were interconnecting, and that I hadn't noticed that so far. So that I felt like theoretically we started to know, oh yes, the movement of goods is connecting to the movements of people. We know that theoretically, but no artworks were actually dealing with that. So I thought it could be interesting to think about that in the context of this large research project on transcultural geographies, where several of us were looking at forms of expansion of what was former Eastern Europe, the former East Bloc, and how Europe started to build infrastructures way into this Cold War, post-Cold War territory in order to expand and start making accessible some of these resources that were beyond the European Union. And the Black Sea Files with this pipeline, this Caspian oil pipeline, was for me the example that this could be observed. I had no absolutely clear idea what I was going to do there, but since I have been working in videographing kind of a human geography, I thought, well, this is what I'm going to be focusing on, not on the technological side of things, and on the financial and the economic side, but also on the human. How does it impact humans that live along the pipeline? How has it deranged and changed their social structures, their whole way of life? And that's what became that project.
Can we see how like geopolitical and ecopolitical interact? You said that it was like you start with legacy files, like because you noticed this change. So is this how they interact?
I wasn't thinking much about ecology at that point. I mean, from the very beginning, from my very first video performing border, I could have made ecology an important subject because, of course, the ecological damage produced by the maquiladora factories there is gigantic. But at some point, you just have to say, I cannot make a video about the whole world. I have to focus, and so for some sad reason, that ecological dimension always kind of fell through. I left it aside, even though I saw it. I saw it in the field. People spoke to me about it. I noticed it, but I didn't make it central. This is going to be probably a problem. It's a problem.
We'll try to.
Because it's quite loud. It's loud.
Yeah, and the register of the...
Sí, está bien. So that is quite good. No?
Yes.
Okay, so we're not going to worry about it. You may cut that out. All right. So, yeah, you could say Black Sea Phasma maybe was an early appearance of an interest that I would pick up much later in a bigger way. And the way it was picked up was actually, at Zahira Chronicle, I saw that this migration hub was also at the site where there was a uranium mine, and I filmed the uranium mine. It was parallel to some kind of iron ore mountains in Mauritania. It was next to the fishery. I mean, it was very clear resources was a major issue, and the way World of Matter came about is that I met Ursula Biemann, this photojournalist in Mali, in Bamako, at the photo biennial. And I was showing Zahira Chronicle there in this kind of multiple way, several monitors that were showing different clips. And I always said, wow, this is really fascinating. Showing some of your work, but also showing clips of the other works, other artists who were in the show, and we all kind of had just one space. And I said, well, wouldn't it be interesting if we created an online platform where we could have various artists contributing video and photo material to related issues, and that would start to show how interconnected these issues are across the globe. And I think that was in 2009 or something, 2010, then we came together in Zurich, and I met him to Zurich, and we said, yeah, we could do this, creating a kind of this global geography of resource extraction, because we realized, okay, this is something we have in common, let's work on this. Then we could invite some artists, and I said, yeah, I could pack package this into a research project, because then I would know how to find money for it, and it's the kind of language that I understand. So I managed some other people, like Lucia Marcote, an old friend, she agreed to produce a new piece on the Polish fishery community in Poland, and Zahira Dehn, who I know was working on oil extraction in Amazon, and some other people, geographers. You know, I invited basically people I've known for years, and I know they work geographically interesting ways. So we created this
Thank you. This was the next question.
This was the next question. Yes, yeah.
It's perfect. So we have this part. We have a question about, or two questions about the Anthropocene project.
Well, the Anthropocene project is the project that HKW
Yes.
Yeah.
And
it's a conference.
Yes. And our question we have is like. The Anthropocene theory has like the core premise is like humanity forms the nature. The humanity forms the nature. And our question is, what we have like seen in the work is that you show this power from humanity and how humanity changes the nature, but at the same time you show how hurting the nature, we are hurting ourselves, because in effect we are part of the nature. So is this what you show, and is the aim from your work that the person who sees your work is like a rethink of what we are doing and try to have a change in the person that see your work?
Well, I guess that's a question you can ask any artist about any art. What does it do in the world, you know? My main is not to change your behavior, if that's what you mean. It's not, my first intention is not to bring about change in my audience. In that way, I'm not an activist who wants to transform the material world in this direct way. I think what Alpesh said yesterday was actually interesting, because he spoke about this micro-activism on a subjective level that allows you to inhabit the space differently, because you understand it conceptually differently. And I think that is something that I'm working on. No, I think I'm doing this because I want to come to terms. I want to create different languages. With resources, world matter. Also recognize that resources does not have a cultural language, does not have a historical language, that it has not been dealt with at all in the world of art and culture, and that this is a real problem because we don't know what it does to us. We just see it as this mechanism that is an economic mechanism. But so yeah, I think it makes a difference to introduce an subject matter in a way, produce materials, produce starting reflections, so that other people can continue working on it. For instance, you continue working on my ideas. So in fact, my impact is on you as a community of young scholars around the world who read things, who reflect things, who in the future will write books, who will make exhibitions and start bringing these subject matters to an audience, to a world public. And this is how our work operates, right, in these circuits. Okay.
We have a few questions about your voice. We know that in the open table it was treated, but we have like a more specific questions. And one question is because of something you have written on your book, Mission Reports. I have it here in German, so I can maybe just read it in a moment so you know what part. Okay. And it's, die Autorenstimme hat im Video-Essay eine ganz andere Rolle. Sie bewirkt eine Art Dislozierung, indem sie disparate Orte und Begriffe sozusagen translokal verbindet. And our question now is, what exactly do you mean with that? Because for us dislocation was like, okay, you move something from place, but then you said it linked something in a translocal way. Can you maybe tell us more about this? What do you want to say with that?
Well, you take things out of their historical moment. It's not a historical voice. I'm not a historical subject when I speak. However, I observe things in different localities. Somehow, I'm observing transnational phenomena in a place that happens to be the border of Mexico. Okay. So what happens there is not a Mexican phenomenon. It is something that is much bigger. Forces from lots of different places, American corporations, Japanese corporations from there. Then there are some contracts between governments between the US and Mexico probably to make this happen and so on. There's logistics that is being driven down from I don't know where. There's labor coming up from Michoacan. I mean, all these people are not from there, and therefore this is a transnational space. And what I'm trying to do is rip these things out of the locality of Mexico and speak about these different phenomena in the way I understand them to be linked, which is a translocal, which is a transnational form of reinsertion, and I think my voice is doing that. Okay. So that's how my essayist voice actually corresponds to a transnational phenomenon.
Use different voices, like in Deep Weather, it sounds like if you were telling us a secret with your voice, and in Subatlantic it's like you adopt like a scientific point of view.
Yeah,
yes,
the voice can do that.
And why not? like you adapt your voice to the content of your work, or how do you decide this?
Oh yeah, I mean, firstly you think about how am I going to say this? Who is supposedly the narrator? And I mean, I spoke about this in my presentation. No? I mean, it's a whispering, inhaling, exhaling voice that says things, that is part of this kind of atmospheric winds that drives the greenhouse gases around. I cannot really control entirely how it's going to be perceived by an audience, you know? This is something, I would never have thought that everyone in the world reacts to this whispering voice. I don't think it's that special. I think Godard has done it once. I remember he did a kind of a whispering thing. I didn't want to imitate him, but just sometimes it needs a different way of articulating things, or kind of pronouncing things in order to get the ideas across. I think it's visceral. It's a more physical voice. It's not a CNN voiceover. It's not a documentarist's voice.
Yes, that's we read a lot of times that you want to distance from the documentary. You say it's subjective.
Subjective.
Yeah, a subjective character from your work, and yes, I think it made it so special, your work, because it's subjective. And yes, we have one last question, because the other ones we had heard them before, and our last question was like, to conclude this, how do you focus your next projects, or do you say, okay, I see what comes, or do you have like a focus for the next works, or?
Well, in this case, there are several proposals that came my way. It's not always like that. In this case, and there's a certain amount of framing that comes with this. You know, for instance, the next project is one that I will make a work for an Atlantic project, which is a big Atlantic exhibition in Plymouth, UK. And so I had to think, what would I like to make my topic when it comes to the Atlantic? And I decided to work on the sub-Atlantic, on the Atlantic under the surface, because it's in relation to an upcoming anniversary of 400 years of Mayflower, which was the ship that brought the settlers to Providence, and so I would think that that he selected a bunch of artists like Odelit Group and other people who will speak about the Black Atlantic, about the slave trade, about all these other kind of dimensions that Atlantic has. And then I would actually like to focus on this volume, on this kind of underwater scenery. So that's how an idea starts to formulate, and have another research project coming up in the Valais, which is the French part of Switzerland, which will be related to a national park there, to a natural reserve there, which has more to do with what are new media, how are new media helping us to understand nature better in terms of mediating what nature is saying to us. So I have to work within that thing. But most of the time, I set my own topics and I just go. But forest law was because of the land grant, and they asked, and because Michigan, Detroit is so close with the whole car industry, and Ford had a big caoutchouc rubber territory in the Amazon for his tire industry. And so for us, the Amazon was actually not so far away. It was actually a very pertinent choice to make that connection. So yeah, I just sit with an idea for a while until something comes to my mind. You know, what can we do? Research around and think, oh, maybe plankton could be interesting. Maybe climate change. What could I do? You know.
Okay.
And then suddenly something comes up and says, that's what we're going to do.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
We apologize our limited system for to make the.
Yeah, that's fine if that serves your purpose. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well.
On board of Explorer 2, she joins the bioprospecting team in search of marine genetic resources. She brings in the directives for interspecies communication. The International Seabed Authority is keen to bring within the oceanic constitution any new genetic materials extracted from deep below, particularly these extreme methaneating organisms.